Hey guys, this is Mike coming at you today from Player One Video Games with our episode 16.
361 series. Sorry.
What?
So, I said 360 series 1. Nope, this is the one that started it.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll get into that. So this is what we're doing on this episode is talking about the original Xbox, the launch date, what it was like. Some of the launch tales like? What did I think of it? How did I like it when it came out?
Did you pre-order this one, Mike?
Yes, I did. I bought it, this one, at launch, at GameStop. The one that's right outside. It's not there anymore. It's right outside the mall, Baybrook Mall, kind of on the feeder there. Across from Denny's.
Mm-hmm.
They had one. That was kind of my go-to GameStop back then. It's the one I liked the most because not as many people went to that one as like in the mall or outside. So, but enough about old GameStop, right? Let's talk about the Xbox launch date. Well, okay, the PS2 had been out for a full year before the Xbox came out. So in my mind, I was not overly excited about the Xbox. I knew it was probably going to be good because it was made by Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you knew it wasn't going to be horrible or die a slow death. But you didn't. It was a little bit of a mystery, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was it going to compete against the PlayStation 2? Was it going to have just as good graphics? They talked about online play with it, and you didn't know the feel of it exactly. You kind of knew PlayStation 2 was coming from Japan. You knew what it was about, but this was an American system coming out in America first, made in America, American company.
Right.
So how let me think here. I don't even know. Everything before that was always, from Japan kind of first.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit. I'm wondering what was going to be the MO of the Xbox. You didn't know. That was my feeling, right? You knew it was going to probably be a little bit more powerful than the Xbox. And you did read a lot about it. So when I picked it up, I think I got it. I picked it up at midnight when it came out, and I loaded it up, but I had to go to work the next day, so I didn't even play it.
Oh, what?
I didn't take the day off from work that next day.
No, boss, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But and that shows you right there that I wasn't the most excited about it. Right?
My goodness.
I was excited that there was something new,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't dying to play it because. Pretty much anything that was coming out on this was going to be out on the PS2. And so I get home from work, I'll hook it up, and the games I bought at launch that I remember, and it might be more, I bought Halo.
Mm-hmm.
That came out at launch. It had to, right? Yeah. That Halo came out at launch. I bought this one at launch,
Mm-hmm.
Oddworld, and Project Gotham Racing. Those were the ones I bought at launch. And let's talk about these two first. Oddworld, if you played it on the PS1, it was a 2D title. It was more of a puzzler almost,
Mm-hmm.
with a very melancholy feel.
Very, very Prince of Persia-like, almost.
Yeah, so it the game made me feel a little bit bad, because you felt sorry for the character,
Mm-hmm.
But this one was different. It was the same premise a little bit, but it was a 3D open world. And the gameplay mechanics on this one, it's a fun game, but it's kind of like Sonic broken a little
Oh,
bit.
no.
Where you will die over here constantly. You can't make this jump. So it kind of killed it for me a little bit, for this one. I would like to go back and replay this one, but I liked it overall, but it just got...
Ooh, Mike, maybe another video?
Maybe another video. We might do some more after we're done with the story time with Mike. With the consoles, we might do some game story time with Mike. Project Gotham Racing, just a good, solid racer. Nothing special about it. So I played it a little bit,
Let's take a look at that.
for this one.
You know, that looks really good, though. That looks better than PS2. Yeah, I said it.
I like racing games always, so, and I played it. But, okay, let's talk about the Halo for a second. I'll just say this, and I think everybody knows it who was alive back then.
Mm-hmm.
If it was not for Halo, I don't think the Xbox would have made it.
I agree.
I think Microsoft would have said, you know what, that was a fun experiment. We're losing $1 million a day on this Xbox, even though Bill Gates, you're losing $1 million a day on the Xbox. How long can you keep this going? Well, I've got $1 billion, you know, maybe what, about 10 years? You know, it doesn't matter to him. So he was, but if it wasn't for this game right here, because this thing got off to a slow start.
Yeah.
Everywhere in Japan, in Japan, I remember the PS2 just totally wiping it out, you know.
Oh, for sure.
It didn't even have a.
Oh, they weren't going to mess with Gaijin material. I mean,
it was too heavy. This thing could barely fit in a Japanese apartment, right? You know what I mean?
It is a Japanese apartment.
Yeah, this is a Japanese apartment. So
send all your hate comments down below.
Yeah, that's right. So, okay, so Halo saved the Xbox, right? And this came out in 01, all right? So it's a first-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Before this game came out, playing a first-person shooter on a console,
but Mike,
with a controller, was not good. You know, it did not have. Go ahead. How y'all doing today? You here for the guitars?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're back, and where I was at was talking about first-person shooters on a console. In 98, 99, when Quake and Doom came out before that, Quake and Unreal Tournament came out, the precision with a mouse and a keyboard was so good that if you tried to play, you know, something on a home console that's a first-person shooter, this was so hard to pinpoint and shoot somebody and navigate. Do you remember? I don't know if you felt that way too back then.
Yeah. They were always like, oh no, PC is the only way to play those type of games.
So to me, what Halo did, and it has to be in the programming, was what Halo did is it made the programming to where it was more precise and you could actually play with your two analog sticks and shoot somebody more consistently.
Speaking of which, you want to tell us about this controller that you're holding,
Yeah,
Mike?
let's go to that. Okay, so the unboxing of my Xbox and hooking it up, I instantly realized Microsoft does not know anything about gaming. Is what I thought, because I said this controller, the Duke, now is what they referred to back then. We called it the piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
It was so big, and my hands are just average size. It was way too big and bulky. Look at all this room right here of nothingness. You know, were they that arrogant? They just wanted their Xbox logo that big? I don't know, but it's so fat, so wide.
They wanted you to feel like a child again, so they made the controller so huge.
And I hated these two little buttons right here, the black and white. I hated those. Thank God, you know, later they went to shoulder buttons on the three. At least they moved them down here. Those still sucked on the 360. But I hated this controller bad. But it still didn't stop me from playing it, and everybody complained about it online and in the forums, right?
Yeah.
In the chat rooms.
Hey, welcome to the internet.
On your computer chat rooms, they all complained about it. So what did I do?
What did you do, Mike?
Well, in Japan, guess what what controller launched with the system in Japan? Our Slim. Before we got our Slim, so I imported one. Japan wasn't so far away in 02.
Were you doing that through microplay?
I don't remember. I actually don't remember how I got this. How I got the Slim. It had to be in an online in a magazine or something. So when I got this controller, I went, yes. You know, that was a year later. A year goes by. So I was like, yes, finally, this is how the controller should have been. They got it right in Japan, right? But over here, it took a little bit. So at least the controller situation got fixed. And these buttons down here are a little bit better being down there, but you know, you could at least hit it with the bottom of your thumb instead of feeling around over here.
What'd you think of Halo when you first played it?
You know, I loved Unreal Tournament so much. It blew me away on the PC. I know we don't talk PC games. It was the only time in my life I really had a top-notch PC. Was in '99, right? In 2000. Because things move so quickly, you spend $2,000 on a PC, it was obsolete a year later, a year and a half later. So I was so enamored still by Unreal Tournament, Quake, mainly Unreal Tournament, that I liked this game a lot. It was a good story. You know, that's what I liked. Unreal Tournament didn't have a story.
Right.
You know, you just shot everybody. So I liked the gameplay on this one. And I was happy that finally you could play first-person shooters on a console with a controller, with a dual analog controller. And I did like Halo. Did I love it? Was it just my, you know, end-all be-all? No. But I would have said, yeah, I give it an 8.
Okay.
Like a score like that. Once I got done with it, you know, I was done with it. I didn't keep playing it. But you know what was cool? All right. Crimson Skies came out pretty early. Really early, the Xbox adopted online play. Because, you know, of course, it was Microsoft.
Right.
And one other good thing about this system was you didn't need memory cards anymore. It was good and bad. At the time, I liked it. I said, oh man, we don't have to have memory cards anymore because it has a built-in hard drive. It was the first system with a built-in hard drive, which made it nice, and it made it, you know, easily playable things for online gameplay. That's why the PS2 kind of failed. It was, you know, SOCOM was okay on online, maybe a couple other games. Why it failed online.
Right. And you had to buy the special accessory for it. And make sure it was hooked up to your landline and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, this thing was built in. You did have to hook it up to the landline the same way. But when these two games came out, I really, really started playing my Xbox a lot more because they were both online and they didn't hiccup. The Dreamcast, it was nice. It was a little too ahead of its time for online. You know, 56K modem just could not quite handle the steady pace like when you're playing NBA 2K on the Dreamcast. It would stutter. You didn't get that as much stuttering in these games. You still might have got here and there, but these games were very playable. I loved them both. This was Call of Duty before Call of Duty. This was, to me, the first game, first-person shooter, you know, that was a Call of Duty style that was on a console. That was fun, you know. I remember I sucked bad. You know, I get killed all the time online. All right, but so the only way I could kill somebody is say somebody else got shot and they're dead. They would disappear, but their blood stain would stay on the ground, right? So I would lay down in their blood stain, and here comes somebody down the hall or something, and they thought I was a dead person.
There you go, playing possum. Playing possum.
It's the only way I could get kills consistently.
That is brilliant.
In this game. I don't know if you guys did that or seen somebody do that, let me know. But I loved this game at the time, and then of course when Call of Duty came out, that was perfection. Modern Warfare on the 360 for online, at least. And then Crimson Skies was just a fun airplane shooter. It had different airplanes, you know.
It's so good that it's still playable.
I think I played it recently on the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, you can actually pop that disc into an Xbox One and play that game.
So this game is actually was really good, and what was good about the Xbox compared to the PS2? Let's do a little comparison. Was that it was just as good as it was like having your PS2, but guess what happened? In 2001, HD TVs started becoming affordable. You know, the first time I saw an HD TV was in '99. It was $25,000, right? A 40-inch flat screen, and
we're talking 720.
Yeah, 720, right? 720p. So I was able to buy a tube TV, a tube Sony that was an HD TV. The thing was giant and heavy, like a 32-inch. In 2001, I bought one. I think it was $2,000, which was stupid money for a television back then. TV was $400 generally.
Right.
You know, back then. So I'm going somewhere with this. So I bought that TV, and guess what? This had HD. You could switch the settings to 720p, right?
Ooh.
If you had a component cable. So I went out and I said, let me see how this works. You know, maybe it'll look better. So I bought a component cable. I think they were like $50 back then. Hooked it up, and I went, the Xbox just became my system of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Dreamcast goes in the bedroom. PS2, I might have been still playing Grand Theft Auto on it, but I didn't care anymore. This system it wasn't HD like 360 HD,
right?
But it cleared things up, you know, and it made things smoother looking. So I was really impressed with what it could do, because I tried that on the PS2 before, hooked up a component cable, and you can put it under that component mode in the settings of a PS2, but it barely did anything. Mm-hmm. Not much. This one was a very noticeable difference. And how the game I noticed it a lot on was Vice City. So when Vice City came out, I played it on the Xbox. The one thing that I remember the most was, say if your hood flew off, I remember the PS2 engine, you'd look in there, it looked like a picture, like a flat picture, you know. But when your hood came off on the cars on Vice City, it looked like an engine in there, components and parts of an engine. And I went, whoa, you know, it was made it really, really more playable to me.
Your dream is like definitely coming true at this point. Your childhood dream.
My childhood dream, actually, from I would say 1993 Sega CD era, for HD was getting there, and that's what I thought too. I said, man, we're close with this Xbox hooked up to a component. We're not there yet, but we're close as we've ever been. And I knew when the next system to come out, we were going to get there. Not the Cube, but the next generation. So I started playing this game a ton, and this was the first time that I thought, man, if they could patch this game, right? Guess what happened with this game?
What happened to that game, Mike?
After you played it for about 15-20 minutes, all ambient sounds went away. You couldn't hear people talk anymore.
Weird.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, man, because PC had patches.
Right.
Right, and stuff. So I said, and they didn't have patches back then for home consoles yet. So I said, and you know, I don't know if they got sued or if they tried to give you another disc, but you know, so that was the first time I went, God, I wish they had patches. You know? And so that was one little negative on this game. But I was having a great time with my Xbox. You grew to love it. It wasn't a wow instantly when it came out, say like the Dreamcast was.
Right.
Because Dreamcast was out, PS2 was out, graphics were there already. So this system, I grew to love it. It could do so much.
A lot of people say this was the spiritual successor to the Dreamcast.
Well, I guess so, because, you know, Dreamcast was powered by Windows, right?
Mm-hmm. And then Bernie Solar went over to...
I don't know any of that.
Okay, never mind.
All right. So I was playing...
We didn't care about that back then.
No. And what I loved to do, and I used to write about it too, I love to compare things, right? Mm-hmm. I love to compare Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Xbox compared to the PS2. And I would sit there and I'd rent one, or I might rent them both, or buy one if I knew, and then rent the other one. And I'd sit there and go, okay, this and that. And I'd write about it in an article or whatever on my online sites. Mm-hmm. And so I love to compare things big time. And I noticed one thing at that time. There were still, at that time, you still only kind of bought, the average person only bought one system.
Right.
There was huge PS2 fanboys. There was huge Xbox fanboys. And it didn't matter what you said, you could physically see the graphics are better. But you go on a PS2 chat forum or forum and go, this game is way better on the PS2 than the Xbox. They were just trying to make themselves feel better. So
right.
You know what it is, because that's the system they chose. But it didn't matter to me because I had both. So there was times I go, oh man, which one's better, this or that? And you know, after about a year, I go, I'm just buying it on the Xbox.
It was almost like the Console Wars Part 2, but to a lesser extent.
To a lesser extent, yeah. So you know, 03 rolls around, 04, I was loving it. But you know what? I'm gonna load up this game, and I tell everybody. I just told somebody yesterday or the day before about ESPN 2K5. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I probably have. This is a top 5 of how many hours I've played of gameplay that I have played this game.
Yeah, because you're anti-Madden at this point, right?
Oh yeah, anti-Madden at this point. So this 2K5.
Oh look, Terrell Owens. What's up, Ocho? Sorry.
I think I mentioned it in the last video. When this one came out, and ESPN and the basketball version of this, they were $19.99.
Yeah. Hey Mike, why does it say PlayStation Magazine on the back of it? It's brilliant. It says PlayStation Magazine.
Oh yeah, of course it is. That's right. It's on PlayStation.
But it's better.
But like, especially this game, if you compare this one on the Xbox to the PS2, very, very noticeable difference. And I always talk this game up when people are buying football games, and I'm gonna finally get to demonstrate here why.
Okay.
So let's do this.
Look at that, saving on the hard drive like you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Like the intro, you got Chris Berman here, right? He does a halftime show. He does an end of the game show, and with highlights. We can't get into that. It's going to take too long. But hopefully I'll get on offense first, or if not, I'll just switch teams. I'll get to receive. I'm going to show you something about this compared to Madden.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't give a crap about sports games, but a lot of you do. And so the one thing Madden doesn't have is a charge meter. Okay. So let me switch this here real quick. I got to have my stiff arm. Okay. So when you're running, how to run in this game, you have to run like this. And then while you're running, it actually starts charging your meter when you hold it down. So you got to time that run, and then you have to stop running and use your charge meter.
Nice. It gives you that like little extra bit of control.
It's that extra bit of control. I'm running. I just charged it up. Well, it's hard to see on here, but let me do it one more time. And the meter is on the bottom of him, and your thing, whenever you get fully charged, your controller will vibrate. I'm charged right now. I'm going to stiff arm him. No, I didn't do it. But you charge it up, and it does other things too. It makes you spin faster if you're fully charged.
Oh, wow.
If you're not fully charged, you spin kind of slow. So you got to time that. Here comes your defender. You're running. Keep it fully charged, and I'm going to try to do it one more time here. To do a stiff arm. No, I ain't gonna do it. So, but saying that, that's why I liked ESPN NFL 2K better than Madden, because it had, like exactly what you said, had more control. Right? Mm-hmm. So I couldn't demonstrate that better, but it kept this game alive for me, because what happened in 06, as you know, Madden got the rights to NFL, and it was only Madden's. It killed me inside a little bit, because there was a game day football from Sony also. Mm-hmm. So it was 3 major football games at the time, and I would play them all. I'd try them all. Like I said, I love to compare. I like to read the magazines to do the comparison.
Right, competition was always good.
Competition was good. It made these games better and better and better. Right, and the worst football game of all time, Madden 06, the worst Madden of all time. It has no commentary. It has an announcer, but that's about it, right? This had the best announcer in the business at the time. It had Chris Berman announcing, so it was great. Now let's move on. Get away from football. You guys are saying stop talking about football. All right, I'll stop.
Hey, so, as day of recording, it is May the 4th.
May the 4th. This is perfect. May the 4th be with you. All right. All right. Star Wars Battlefront 1, of course, came out before this one, and it did the same. It did kind of the same things, but I'm going to put 2 in.
Yeah, we talked about it on the PS2 video.
Yeah, I loved this game. I was I love this game so much. Yeah, we did talk about this on the PS2, but it was even better on the Xbox, right? So let me stand this guy back up, and this time we're going to get a little bit of gameplay of it. Hopefully, because this one goes pretty quick, I believe. I haven't played this one in a while. So you could be the bad guys or the good guys, right?
Woo!
And you could do like a Call of Duty style, capture the flag type of a deal. But you could fly everything. You could be anybody in here. Oh, I did the campaign, didn't I? So, and guess what? The controls, they finally are getting it right on the console. So we'll just let that run.
And look, N64 tried to do the whole look. Hey, we got 4 controller ports. Look what Xbox got.
4 controller ports. That's right. It's another good feature about that one, right? So I love the Star Wars series. I didn't play those. I played Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I like those 2 games too, but some people, that was their favorite game, right? It wasn't. This I liked more because you went into more depth on each vehicle. Knights of the Old Republic a little bit more RPG and more specific. But that's what I loved about this. You could just be anybody, right? On here, or fly stuff or drive stuff. That's why I love that one. Did you play the series?
I played 1. I didn't play 2 very much.
Okay, but did you love 1?
I did. I think to me, and I'm going to say I think it's one of the best Star Wars games of all time.
Yeah, me too. Same.
Just because it's the one time I actually felt like, hey, I'm actually in the story,
right? Or
I'm in the film franchise.
All right, let's keep going down the line here. We'll talk about what was next. I remember Fable coming out, but the thing about Fable, it was so hyped up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You start as a child and work your way up to an adult.
Yeah, all the promises.
You could be bad, you could be good, right? And so many promises, and it took forever for this game to come out. You heard about it for 2 years, right?
Right.
And it finally comes out, and this was the first time you go, the hype train
yeah,
was too much.
It was good, but
it was good, and here's what's funny: the hype train destroyed it for me.
Fair enough. Your expectations were way too high.
It was way too high for this game. I started it, and I was like, this is dull. It's a little boring. Guess who played this game way more than I did? My father. Because he didn't hear anything about it. He just saw me playing it, and he goes, oh, I just gave it to him.
Yeah.
And he played it all the way through.
So, see, the marketing killed that game.
Just like No Man's Sky. I never heard any marketing about it. We're going on to a little bit further here. No, I didn't hear anything about No Man's Sky.
You know what? No Man's Sky, Mike, we're going to do a whole video on No Man's Sky.
Okay, and I loved it. So, my father loved this game, and I would have loved it if I didn't hear it, wasn't on the hype train.
Right.
And that's the killer about this game. But saying that though, the things they promised, things that you thought was just too much for the Xbox to handle.
Right.
It could have done it on the 360 probably, So I just wanted to make a little thing about Fable. And again, X-Men Legends, talked about that one I think on the PS2.
Yeah.
I love that one. Once again, played it also on the Xbox. Halo 2, Need for Speed Underground. Let's pull these over here. Let's talk about these for a minute.
Yeah.
Halo 2. I like Halo 1 better myself, but why did everybody play Halo 2?
It was the multiplayer.
The LAN party. You would go to people's houses and bring your Xbox and LAN party them. Somebody's in the kitchen with it. Somebody's in the spare room.
Some guy's duct taped to the ceiling.
Yeah. So it would be LAN all together, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
Because it was the precursor to the good online first person. It was a precursor to good online first person shooting. Where no lag, nothing like that. Everything worked. So that's why I played Halo 2. I don't think I ever played the campaign.
I don't think anybody played the campaign.
Did anybody play the campaign?
Hey, if you play the campaign, leave a message.
Yeah. Tell us about the campaign on Halo 2.
Yeah. Tell us the story.
But that one really, to me, brought the Xbox in for the masses a little bit. Was Halo 2. I want to talk.
Oh yeah, I remember when this game was being launched. It was madness.
It was, yeah. And for me, I don't know why it wasn't a big a deal, probably because I told you Halo to me is an 8.
Yeah.
And nothing compared to Unreal Tournament until the. Well, I'll tell you about what it was later. So the Need for Speed Underground series. What I loved about the Xbox, it had tons of racing games, tons of them. Sega GT, Forza started on that. Project Gotham Racing, but when Need for Speed started hitting them, these Underground series were open world, go anywhere, and my God, I love that because I like open world stuff. And I don't like to be restricted. I want to be able to do what I want.
He wants land, lots of land.
Lots of land, yeah. I don't want to...
Don't fence him in.
I don't want 0.23 acres of land my house is sitting on. I want a full acre.
We're in Texas.
Yeah, we're in Texas. That's right. So, Need for Speed Underground 1 and then 2 got even better. I was pull 2 out, but we don't have any in stock.
That's because it's that great.
Because it's that great. These Need for Speed Underground was so fun. Midnight Club was great.
Oh yeah.
So many great racing games on the Xbox is one of the reasons I loved it so much. And even though Gran Turismo was great on the PS2, you might have had a couple others here and there, but it was endless on the Xbox. It felt like it couldn't keep up.
A lot of great arcade drivers.
That's what the Xbox to me was about. Arcade stuff. All right.
What is this hidden stuff that you got here?
I got some hidden stuff here. Don't look. Don't look. That's right. I always have to end or wind down with my disappointments.
Wah, wah.
I don't consider Fable a disappointment. That was my fault. Kind of more for believing the hype train. A minor disappointment, Battlefield 2. Now, once again, this right here, Battlefield 2, this showed how far ahead the PC still was compared to home console in 01, 02, 03. Because if you played Battlefield on the home console, on the PC, believe it or not, at the time you could do 32 versus 32. You could have in 04, 03, 04, you could do 64 on-screen players.
Wow.
It was amazing, right? My computer by then was running on low steam. I was running on minimal graphics, but I was still playing this on my computer. And I thought, man, I bet this is great on the Xbox. Well, they had to dumb it way down. It was like 1 versus 1, almost something like that. And it was just a disappointment. But I had the PC version, so I played that. But I was waiting. I love Battlefield now. I don't play Call of Duty anymore. I play Battlefield 2042 if I go to war. So, all right. Halo Killer.
There's a Halo Killer? What do you have there, Mike? What?
Halo Killer. That's what they described this as for a few months before it came out. All the magazines.
And it's only on Xbox, so they're trying to compete with themselves?
This was supposed to be the ultimate, better than Halo. And at the time, I remember things was always, this is a Halo Killer.
Right.
But this one tricked not just me, not my father, everybody, right? Who was really into games, not just the mass people who didn't play games much, but the people who really play games. I bought this brand new on launch, and right when I started playing it, I went, I got tricked.
Oh yeah, that's.
And with a lizard on the front, I should have known. Maybe, I don't know. But this is one of the biggest disappointments I ever had in more the modern gaming. Not the NES era, but disc-based era maybe, or this generation. This generation is probably the biggest disappointment. Was Brute Force. High hopes.
Hey.
Right. Shenmue 2.
Going back to that Sega.
Going back to this, I thought, well, maybe they're going to get it right.
Oh, that's right, because you weren't a big Shenmue fan.
Yeah, I wasn't a big. It looked better, a little bit. It played okay. I was hoping for a different type of gameplay, and it just never was.
You wanted GTA, but Shenmue.
I wanted GTA Shenmue. I thought it was going to be better graphic. More GTA gameplay.
Right.
GTA with good graphics.
You wanted Yakuza, is what you wanted.
I wanted Yakuza, or there was another one I loved better than Yakuza. I can't remember on the PS3 that I used to play. But yeah, this one, once again, I got tricked a little bit by Shenmue, but I should have known better, you know. I mean, it's not a bad game. Some people like
Right. Shout out to my Shenmue people.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's just not my style of game. Tell me what you're talking about top spin there. What'd you put that top spin?
Because we do this because we talk about our experiences with the Xbox. My biggest experience with the Xbox was playing this game with my brother-in-law at the time.
Yeah.
And it was literally just tennis, but it was so crispy and so fluid, the animations.
You know what I liked about this era, and I think it started with the Dreamcast a little bit with virtual tennis. It was the first time that the person took a step, and when you press the button, let me ask you if this is what you're talking about. When you press the button, it was a little bit of a delay. It was an instant bang.
Yeah, no.
You better press that button, and here comes the ball.
No, you felt like you were actually playing / watching a tennis match at the exact same time. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I know what you mean on that one too. So, but okay, any final thoughts on this? I know we're kind of wrapping this up. They didn't have a smaller Xbox. You know what I forgot to talk about in the last PS2 was the Slim. How much I loved it, and I bought it right away. But too late.
Oh,
but
yeah.
There was not another Xbox. Now they did have a Halo edition,
right?
Clear green one that's really nice. Mountain Dew edition that you could only win with bottle caps or something.
Right. No, Canada got all the Xbox.
The Covenant.
Yeah, Xbox gave all their cool colors to Canada. So
that's right. But you know, saying that, to me, I know we still got the GameCube. I'm just going to tell you now, because you probably know the Xbox. For me, won this generation's war. But PS2 on paper did, of course.
Right.
It was more.
The PS2 didn't. I say the PS2 didn't. I said the library of the PS2 did.
The library of the PS2 did. But for me, this one was. We were right on the cusp of gaming perfection when the next generation, right before this generation, it maxed out this generation. The graphic, the gameplay, it did the best it could do. That's what the Xbox did to me. It did better than the PS2. It squeezed out every bit of life, every bit of graphics, every bit of gameplay that this generation could handle.
Right.
And it did it well, and it did it to the top. It didn't leave anything on the table. It gave it all that it had, where the PS2 couldn't quite get to this level.
Right.
To me, graphically. So I guess that's it. Hey, saying that, we have a ton of games in stock. We have a couple of systems in stock. Now we get low on the Xbox systems here. We usually only have 1 or 2 in stock. But let's go take a look at quickly the wall of Xbox games that we have.
Go swing over here. All right, guys, I'm going to show this to you real quick. This is our high dollar bin.
Yeah, we just have one little stack.
Look at that. Those are awesome.
Oh God, Ninja Gaiden. You know what? I forgot. Oh, no, that was on. Never mind. We'll stop.
That game was too hard.
It was just too hard. I'll let you.
But look at this. This whole section. Oh my goodness. I gotta get all this in. Oh, so much. There's so much. We got a literal wall of Xbox. Man. Hey.
So we have a big giant wall. So hey, saying that, come on down to Player One, check this stuff out.